Welcome back to part 2 of the SHGP Virtual Airshow series featuring the BBMF Lancaster. In today's video, the Lancaster will be performing a display over the Imperial War Museum at Duxford, where it will be joined by the Flight Spitfire Mark II. We are currently holding east-north-east of Duxford, waiting for the Spitfire to join us, which will be at any moment. Let's join the crew in the cockpit.
Memorial 2 to Memorial 1, we are holding 15 miles east-north-east of Duxford. Are you visual of us? Over. Memorial 1, Memorial 2, looking standby. Memorial 1 Tally, I will be joining you from the north. Gunner to Skipper. I am busy with Memorial 2. He's approaching us from the rear. Skipper, roger. Aurora 2 on board. The Spitfire has let us know that is now in formation with the Lancaster holding to the rear. Now that we are in formation, we can commence our running to the display at Duxford. I will call up Duxford and let them know our position and intention. Duxford, Tower, good afternoon. Memorial Flight of 2, type Lancaster and Spitfire. We are 2 minutes out, approaching from the east for display.
Memorial, Duxford Tower, good afternoon. You are clear to display. Wind is 305 degrees 10 knots.
There is a crosswind over the airfield today, but thankfully the wind speed is not high enough to cause us any significant issues, but we will need to be aware of that as we may drift. The air is quite rough down at this height on a warm day, causing turbulence, and therefore the aircraft is moving around a bit. This makes holding formation a bit more difficult. Like in the real world, this BBMF display will be performed in 4 stages. Firstly, the Lancaster and Spitfire will perform 3 formation passes along the crowd line, following which the Spitfire will break off from the formation and begin its solo display. The Lancaster will hold to the rear of the crowd during this time, and following the conclusion of Spitfire solo, it will run in for its solo display. After which the pair will be joined for a final formation pass before returning together to RAF Coningsby. This display is not 100% accurate of a present-day BBMF display, however a number of elements are included in this virtual display. Our display time starts as we pass the display datum at Crowd Centre. The crew announce this to the pilot and start the timer by calling HACK as the formation passes the display datum. Our total display time, including both solos, is 25 minutes. A quick scan of the airspace above the airfield to confirm that the airspace is clear of other aircraft. Our first fly past is flown at 500 feet at 200 knots. Memorial flight 15 seconds.
Memorial, roger. Wind check 29008 knots. Hack.
Our display clock has now started. Coming left, now. We are now turning the formation left to run back in along the intermediate axis towards the crowd centre, where we will turn to the right away from the crowd onto the left-hand intermediate axis. Rolling out now. Coming right now. Rolling out now. Coming left now. We're now turning back in along the A-axis for our final formation path before the conclusion of the first part of the display. Rolling out now. Spitfire, brake, go. Spitfire's off. Now that the Spitfire has broken away for its solo display, we will reposition the Lancaster to hold in an orbit to the north of the airfield behind the crowd. running in 10 seconds.
Memorial 2, roger. Wind check 290, 10 knots.
We are a little high and slower than we want to be, so I'll decrease the height and let the speed increase as we dive. We can actually see the Spitfire displaying over the airfield from the Lancaster whilst we hold. During the Spitfire's 6.5-minute solo display, we will expect to make 3 complete orbits in the Lancaster to the rear of the crowd, and if our timings are correct, we will run in at the end of the 3rd orbit. First orbit is complete, the timings are looking good. Second orbit complete, we're still on time. Spitfire last pass. You can see the Spitfire running in now for its final topside pass. It will exit crowd right and hold to the rear as we run in from crowd left. Memorial 1 running in 10 seconds.
Memorial 1 Roger, wind check 285, 13 knots.
We will start our display with a topside pass along the crowd line at 500 feet and 180 knots. Turning left to bring us back along the A-axis, watching our height and speed in the turn. Rolling out to fly along the crowd line. Turning into a right-hand 360 where we will fly 2 orbits. Increase our height in the turn, topping out at the 180 degree point. As we arrive back near the crowd, I will open the bomb bay to give the crowd a view of the Lancaster's large bomb bay. Orbiting again for our second 360, this time closing the bomb bay as we exit the turn. Exiting out on the left-hand intermediate axis, away from the crowd. Turning left to bring us running back down level along the crowd line. Turning left at crowd centre to begin a simulated missed approach gear down path. Gear down, flaps down to 10 degrees, reducing the speed as we turn back in towards the 06 runway. Flaps down 20 degrees. Flaps fully down. Watching our approach speed and sync rate. Lancaster, last pass. power now to 12 pounds a boost. Gear up. Flaps up to 20 degrees. The speed is increasing, so flaps up to 10 degrees. And flaps fully up. The Spitfire should be running back in now to rejoin us for our final formation pass at the conclusion of our display. New Genesis Skipper, Memorial 2 is behind us. Clear turn. The Spitfire would let us know that it is in position and we can commence our turn to run back in for the final flight past. Spitfire, echelon right, go. 2. The Spitfire will be in a different position for the final flight pass, positioned in the echelon right position of the Lancaster. Memorial last pass. Memorial display complete.
Memorial Roger, thanks for the display. QNH 1009, report change in frequency.
Now that we've finished the display, we increase the power and climb up to 3,500 feet for our return leg back to RF College B. Now that we are at a cruise height, we set the RPM for cruise. In the case of the Lancaster, this is 1800 RPM. As we reduce the RPM, we need to watch the speed and increase the power as required.
And that's it for part 2. Join me again in part 3, where the Spitfire and Lancaster will return to RAF Coningsby to land. Until next time, stay happy, stay safe.